When I stop talking, it means the meeting is over. See? Oh, that makes it less personal. Still hurtful, though.
What's up, good people, and welcome back to the channel today for another special interview, because I get to talk to my buddy, my pal that I got to talk to in our virtual junket for Upload Season 2. And
that's
now,
right.
Yeah, and now we
I
get to
remember
talk
you
about
now.
his new project, Not Dead Yet, which you should be checking out right now. New episode drop each Wednesday on ABC, which means the new episode is dropping in just a day or two. It's a fantastic show, and for whatever reason, you just must be a magnet when it comes to just hilarious shows that I need to watch. But nonetheless, Josh, how's it going today? How you feeling?
I'm good, Niger. How you been, man?
It's been good, man. It's been good. How about yourself?
That's good. I mean,
Staying busy.
Apparently so. You know, when they let me. Yeah, it's been good.
Oh, I got so many questions, and the first question I want to ask, because I didn't write in my notes, but I just keep thinking about it. But it's important. With your character Dennis in Not Dead Yet, for whatever reason, steals the scene by fashion alone. Did you have any input on this, or is there a shout out to somebody here? But every scene, I'm just like, okay, like, excuse me, let me shop in your closet.
Oh man. Okay, so truth be told, we have the costume designers from Blackish and Grownish and Mixedish. Yes. The tag team duo, Michelle and Stanley. These guys, like, I wish I had just a fraction of the knowledge. They are so amazing. Like, they just come to work looking just fitted as hell. So you're like, oh my God, you know, this is what I'm wearing, is pajamas basically. And when they showed me the wardrobe, like, there wasn't a whole lot of input to be done. It was just like, yes, more of that, please. It was incredible, man. It was amazing.
Oh man, listen, I won't tell nobody, but if you still anything upset, I'm sure Disney will be okay.
Listen, I got a full closet right now. Don't tell Mickey. He's gonna get upset.
Now, as I jokingly say, but really seriously mean, you've just been a magnet for just fantastic shows that just provide not just comedies, but they have so much heart. That last episode of Not Dead Yet, wow, just hit me right in the feelings. But you know, with that emotional attachment to it, with these really good and powerful messages intertwined with all of it, talk to me about when you first was approached by the project and when you realized it was special.
Yeah, you know, they approached me way back, kind of before we started shooting. They approached me first in like May about it, and they were super interested. And I looked at some of the script, and what immediately got to me was that heart. It was like, oh, I thought I was doing a comedy, but now, like, I'm feeling things. Who are these people? Like, who are these writers? And then I found out they're the same people from the drama series. I can't think of it right now. It's a very famous drama series. I'm going to kick myself over it later. But anyway, it speaks to their skill that they could write something that makes you laugh in Act 1 and makes you feel in Act 3. You know, and so that immediately stood out to me. And I'm like, all right, let's see how the pilot goes. But can they keep it up? And they have. And that stood out. That was special. And to see everybody else react the same way on set and be like, in the table reads, we'd be like, wow, like, what happened? Like, after this episode, after we read this one, we were in the writer's room. Like, what have you done? What happens? How does this work? You know, because of the cliffhanger, we were all over it and people crying and stuff. It was a mess.
I just quickly took a look at the writers here, and this is an interesting combination here. Casey Johnson from This Is Us.
This Is Us. There it is.
Yeah, and obviously, if you haven't shed a tear in that, then you just have no heart at all.
You don't have soul. Yeah.
But then you have Mark Ferrick, who is of the Goldbergs, and it does sort of have a feeling of that as well too. I'm gonna look more once we're done talking here. But yeah, that's interesting. And like, I think that one, if someone's never heard of this series and hopefully checking out this interview, you do get intrigued, because I'm going to tell you, I don't think between what I know I'm gonna say, and I don't think what you're going to give is still, you're still not going to, you're not going to expect what's coming, because the beginning part, you do sort of like first pilot episode, you sort of get this comedy aspect to it. You're like, well, what is the whole play on words with not dead yet? And then it gets in there. Then you get this message, and then by the second episode, you're starting to see like how things are intertwining with that theme. Not trying to give anything away. And they're 22-minute episodes, minus commercials and whatnot. But still, just like you get so much good, important messages, good laughs, just a lot of heart, and you will feel something. And I just love how you always able to accomplish so much so quick. It reminds me of old school television, like, the back in the sitcom days, very, very hard,
Yes, you're right. It does. It has that feel to it. You're watching like, Fresh Prince, and then the episode, where Will is like, and his dad and everything, and like
exactly.
He's like, oh man, I was laughing at the beginning of this episode. Now I'm feeling that it has that same. That's a very interesting observation, man. That's
exactly. Great. And to your credit, and obviously, you play a character like Dennis, and then when you talk about Upload, which is, I feel, is the new styling of comedy now, when you do have these messages kind of arced over an entire season, you're telling the story over an entire season, and you're able to really still shine, and even in these moments as well too. We talked about the rumor thing last time. Right. but for you, has it been a challenge in the styling of approaching these projects now? Again, when you have something like Upload, which is again 8 or 10 episodes, hour long, and then you come into something like this, which again feels much like the things we kind of grew up on a little bit here. But was there a little bit of a challenge, or like scaling the knob a little bit to kind of perform different?
Yeah, I think with Upload, actually I shot this last season of Upload while I was shooting Not Dead Yet. We would get a break week, and then I would fly up to Vancouver and shoot like 3 episodes back to back to back to back, and then like come back down, boom, bang out like 6 episodes, and then fly back. It was wild, but like, it was kind of helpful, because what was different about these two comedies is that the music is different. It's still the same, like funny bits. You're still doing like a lot of stuff, but like how they cut, how they edit, and how you perform is a little bit different. Your music is going to be different for both. And the beauty of it was that because both of these characters are like different aspects of myself, having to play them back to back meant I had to leave whichever one I was playing behind to do the next one. So it didn't have that sticky effect that actors can sometimes get, where it's like, I can't put this character down, that whole who am I thing, psychologically. But I would be like, all right, I'm going to leave Ivan in Vancouver, and then I got to come back and play Dennis. I'm like, all right, I'm going to leave Dennis in LA, and we'll fly up and like do this thing with a robot. You know what I mean? Like that, it gave me like that mental boundary, which was really helpful.
That's good. Phenomenal job. Cannot wait for Upload season 3. The biggest question everybody wants to know when. I'm not going to get you in trouble, but is there while you mention it, is there anything we may be able to expect, either whether the overall synopsis of the season, like what's going to be the story of the season, or anything you may be able to talk about with your character?
Yeah, I mean, I think you definitely see more of Ivan with every season. You get a little bit more of his character and and what he's capable of. What's great about this season is they really dialed up on 2 things I love about it, which is the comedy and the tech aspect, and kind of like, you know what I mean, and like honestly like making fun of where we are in our relationship with technology. And it's just, I was rolling this season. It's so ridiculous, some of the stuff we got going. I'm not sure when it's dropping. I wish I knew. I wish you could get me in trouble. That would be great. But yeah, hopefully, I mean, definitely sometime this year.
Yeah. Also, just jealous, because I'm sure Vancouver is a beautiful place to film out there.
It
you go from like well, except for LA, like having snow the other day. I was gonna say you went from beautiful
I
LA
know.
to Vancouver. I was like, what a time. But yeah, y'all getting snow and all types of blizzards there. I'm on the East Coast, and that's normal for us. But I was like, look at y'all. Y'all got that now too.
It was rude. We don't know what to do with it. We were wearing shorts. It was very, precarious situation.
Yeah. I tell you, global warming is a thing here. There's
It's
no
a thing,
denying
isn't
that.
it?
Yeah. I also want to kind of reflect to your work. Also, let me give you a quick shout out too. As you talk about, we're going to see more and more Ivan each season. It's a testament to your work. When you went from sort of you went from a character that appeared a few times to a season regular to now you're saying, "I already give it any more," and I'm not going to argue with that. I'll take as much as we can here. So, but that's obviously because you're doing the hard work there, and they can see that.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. I love playing Ivan. So yeah, anytime I get to do that, even if it's just for like 2 seconds, I'm like, yes, let's go. So, more Ivan is good for me too.
Yeah. As much as as I say it again, I'll say it as I say before, and I'll say again, as you being a magnet of just these type of shows that I enjoy, you also are always in company of such a well diverse group of just talented folks here. Obviously, we could talk about Gina and Not Dead Yet, and then obviously in Upload, Robbie and Andy here. Could you just talk about, especially with the traveling back and forth, some of the good moments of being able to kind of be the vessel between both of these shows, and I'm sure bringing that energy from both of these shows back and forth. Any funny stories or special moments here for you?
Oh man, I mean, like switching between these two different sets was really fascinating. Upload is a little bit more, kind of run and gun, just trying to like shoot something crazy. There's a lot of special effect. There's a lot of like, you're holding swords this time around. I'm just like, okay. And then going to Not Dead Yet, where now you're in an office and like you playing the reality of it. And there's a different kind of imagination at work, but like working with Gina, I changed me as an actor, like, and as an artist. People are like, how is it that you guys, what did you do to like team build? We get that question sometimes because the cast feels cohesive,
Yeah.
And to be totally honest, it was just like, like when you go to a family reunion and you run into that cousin that you used to just like get in some shit with, and you're like, you know what I mean? And you're just like, you make that sound. That's what happened when I saw Gina, and I had never met her before. And it was just like, I think this is going to be dope. Like, we are going to get us some great shit together. And it ended up just like every time we ended up on screen, we would ruin takes because we're laughing through most of it. I mean, I'm spoiled now. Like, I don't know how I'm going to move on. So yeah, I mean, it was a great experience, both sets, but Gina especially really changed me.
That's awesome. And I can honestly say, like, the chemistry with you two, I had to go search. I was like, have they worked together or something? Like the first scene in the pilot, she's getting introduced to the new job, and I'm just like, oh, they're clicking, and you just get more and more of it throughout the season, which I'm just eagerly waiting to finish it up.
Man.
So to focus on Dennis a little bit more, we see Dennis is having a few challenges. One being athletically challenged. Is that true to you, or is that something you did just through it there?
Listen, I definitely specialize. It was an interesting experience growing up in South Central. You can't play basketball. It's kind of that's a niche experience. I gotta say, I haven't seen that on screen a whole lot. I am not very good at it. My dad picked me a sport. He said it's gonna be tennis. I went to Venus and Serena's coaches and studied at their academy and just went all in for tennis, and it just never really made it to Crenshaw. They didn't really care. I didn't have any cred. They were just like, you can't ball to save your life. So that is very true to me. That is a very honest story.
And again, because I just want to really promote and sort of encourage folks to check the season out. It's so funny, it's so good. But I want to give you a takeaway. But could you talk a little bit more about Dennis' challenges And the one thing I do like about this character is there's a sense of vulnerability, and you talk about work conduct, and sometimes you leave things out of work, and we kind of see all of that kind of blending in with all these characters here. And then just a lot of people are not short of saying how they really feel about other characters in this world too. But I feel like Dennis navigates in a very safe way that I would navigate. Like, I don't have problems with opening up to the people I trust. But other than that, it's a closed door. Y'all get in here, we're talking, and nobody else needs to know.
Right.
But as we see, as we get more and more into the season here, we see that Dennis is opening up about his vulnerabilities and other challenges he's having, especially at home. Could you again hint at or kind of tell us where we're going at with Dennis for the remainder of the season?
Yeah, Dennis's arc honestly really took me by surprise. Just because, I was used to playing Ivan, and Ivan has he has a great little kind of story that comes to fruition, but like Dennis is what happens with him really was pulling at my heartstrings as an actor. We filmed the finale where Dennis has a really difficult decision to make concerning family and some issues he's having at home. And it was really difficult. I was in the process of losing my dad at the time. And so, I had been kind of pushing it down because I was going to work. I didn't bring it up to anybody. I didn't talk to anyone. We were facing like really big time constraints. And I went and did this scene, and it just was fully there to access as Dennis. It was just like there was a QR code to these emotions that was rooted in who I was and my current experience. And so, when you see that moment on screen in the last episode, that is absolutely me, bringing that through that character, man. And it just, like I said, like it changed, this show changed everything and how I perform, how I look at acting. But yeah, it's a really beautiful story, and it's unique as well. I haven't seen a character like Dennis ever, or a story like his on screen before. Yeah, it's an honor.
Sorry for your loss, and I just cannot wait. I think you're fantastic, and if you're calling this what it feels like going to be one of your best scenes ever, I'm down me up.
Watch it just be garbage, like to just be like
not even a chance.
Like, I didn't believe it.
Not even a chance. Willing to put the house on this one.
I appreciate your faith in me.
Absolutely. So for my final question here, and I love and this is interesting because I love how inclusive this show is without saying, hey guys, I'm inclusive. It does a really good job in normalizing these different dynamics, these different relationships and bonds and all these sorts of different things here. But I just cannot in this interview without mentioning when Dennis speaks about his sexuality and he talked about his sun and moon sign, and I bust out laughing. It's the funniest scene ever. But what I do love is that Dennis is proud, and again, a person that's showing vulnerability, but also shows a lot of assertiveness in like different scenes as well too. But with these type of characters, as we tend to see more of these type of characters, but as I always say, as we tend to need more of these characters here, what's sort of been your responsibility, or should I even say, just what's been your joy in playing a character that carries such a platform, using your platform, but carries such a responsibility for others coming from behind you?
Yeah, the moment that you're talking about was really important to me, because I didn't want it to be like SNL does this so funny. They make just characters randomly bisexual to be like, and I'm bisexual, and like I'm a zombie, and also I'm bisexual. You're like, that's what TV feels like sometimes.
Yeah,
I'm like, I don't want to do that, and I talked to the showrunners about it, and so the way we did it was really intentional to make it feel real. And I think what's most important to me is like when I was growing up, feeling this way as a kid. There wasn't a word for bisexual. Like, I didn't know what I was because there was no term, and it was always like people were always trying to get me to pick a side. And being able to be, you know, a person of color and LGBTQ and represent a group on screen that like we don't see very often, it really it kind of honestly on a day-to-day is striking me, just because I think as in terms of the culture, we get stuck playing a lot of the same characters
Absolutely.
and repeating the formula. And I think like that repeated formula is part of the reason why people shortchange us. You know, I would come up in school and there was a thing, I went to Catholic school, they expected certain things of me that I wasn't because they had been perpetuated this message. And with each role that we get in these representative spaces where we're being able to play things that we don't see and haven't seen before, we extend those walls a little bit further out, little by little, you know, grains of sand, until, you know, hopefully we get to the place where it's not surprising. You know, where
exactly.
another thing about the series I love, nobody explains. It's not like, well, you know, here in the this community, we do the blah, blah. There's none of that. We are just people interact because people don't do that in real life.
Yeah.
We're just people interacting in the same space. It's been one of the biggest honors of my career. You know, I don't know about if we're in season 2, whatever, but like that has been such a joy for me to be a part of that.
Yeah.
Man.
Well, I'm gonna do my job here and make sure I let folks that they need to go check this out, and I'm gonna also put that energy in the air to go ahead and load up that season 2. Because even though we're not done season 1, I'm already on board for season 2. This is such an important, but yet a sigh of relief when it comes down to the content that's being released in the world right now. This is one that you just kind of watch and just not a worry in the world. It's just all good, you know. That's I think I said that to myself a few times. Like, man, this is all good watching this. Like all the different things happening, it's just all good. Just time flying by, you just don't care. It's all good.
Thank you, man. Yes, I think that's what we're hoping to get, some of that carefree. We got too much worry.
Absolutely,
right,
man.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, folks, definitely check it out. As you have already been told numerous times, check out Not Dead Yet. New episodes dropping each Wednesday, and then stay on the lookout because season 3 is coming sometime this year, and you know we'll be happy to come back and talk about it again.
Yes, let's go anytime, man.
Absolutely.
Questions are so good. Let's go. I'm excited to talk to you.
Now I'm just like, I'm scaling around the room. Like, okay, well, last season was a Roomba. Like,
yes,
I know they got those.
Your blender.
Never.
I'm just saying, you know, kitchen items are not outside of this guy's purview.
I'm looking forward to it. But Johnson, it's a pleasure to talk to you, man. We'll talk again very soon. Thank you so much for watching, folks. We'll see y'all back very soon.